Welcome to A Certain Style of Podcast, episode 26. This week we are talking about robots in popular culture, mostly to do with movies, TV, games, that kind of thing, but we'll be talking more specifically about how they look, feel, whether they seem real or not, or if that's even important. Music of the week is the Terminator theme, composed by Brad Fiedel. So an interesting fact about this theme, it's in a strange time signature all the way through. It's never quite the same. So Brad Fiedel was forced to sync them by hand. So the time signature is kind of weird, but it also makes it somewhat iconic to listen to. So here it is, listen to it, see what you think, see if you can hear the time difference, and then listen to us talk about robots. Enjoy! What's up, everybody? This is A Certain Style of Podcast, where we talk about the things that interest us from the world of entertainment. That's my voiceover guy voice.
That was very razzmatazzy.
Yeah, in a world where three men.
She was a man, he was a woman.
So I'm your host, Guy Hawkins. I'm here with Andy, who's always here.
Hello.
Hello, Andy. And Tim is off in Chinatown doing Chinatown things. So we've got someone you may remember, the voice of the beginning of the Star Wars trailer and also Lego Batman, Lego Darth Vader.
The voice of?
You did the voice of the beginning of the Star Wars trailer real good.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I remember that. Yeah. And then you're also a really cool Lego Darth Vader. Graham Stiebler.
Don't call me Stiebler. You did that on purpose? Did you do that on purpose?
No, because it's still... I know, because I did that. I didn't do that on purpose at all. Yeah. It's Graham Stabler.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
horses, not Stabler.
Okay, so for me to
Stable.
remember your name, I have to think of horses.
Think of the
That will
keeper
help.
of horses.
Or he's very steady on his feet.
Stable.
More stable.
You did, yeah. You did a big jump when you were dressed as Lego Darth Vader when you
had no choice.
Didn't have so much mobility and you didn't fall on your face.
Yep.
Which was good. Cool. All right. So, Graham, you're an engineer. Is that accurate? Unlike me getting your name wrong.
That's accurate. Yep.
Cool. So, because of that, I feel it would be good to talk about machines in popular culture.
I.e. films.
Yeah. I think it will mostly be about films, but it might go into TV. It might go.
Yeah.
It might go into games. It might go into memes. And yeah. For the table today, we've got a robot arm, which everyone should have a robot arm. It's my ambition one day to have one of my own on my arm.
You could just like gaffer tape that one to you.
I thought about it.
Did it?
And for those not watching the video version, this might sound kind of weird. Graham's using a robot arm to pick up another little green robot.
Die.
Ah,
Just killed him.
Well, that noise is probably going to be a recurring theme. So if you hear something weird, it's the little robot.
Do audio description here.
Do audio description. What, like from...
Some boots, a ginger spies a spot of water, spies a spot of light, and chases it.
Graham Stabler moves some big yellow knobs.
Squashes a robot's head.
Oh,
with robotic
he's
arm.
killing it.
I'm getting good at this. Oh, yeah, combo.
BB-8 is also on the table, and he just lets it happen.
I'll drive.
Blimey, it's got a good...
It's like slow motion wrestling between robots.
For the audio, for the audio listener.
You're in control, Graham, and you have the power to stop.
Okay, I've stopped.
It's got a light on it as well.
I've turned that on a few times.
It's pointing at me.
Okay, sorry.
So before we get into all of that, we'll do a little bit of news. And before we get into that, you can contact us at acertainstyle.com because we want people to get in contact with us and let us know how we're doing. Graham is
I'm not too fussed.
Great. No, you're real helpful. You're a listener, and you've given us some feedback, and it's real super helpful. So we would ask anyone who's viewing this or listening to this to do the same. You can find us on Facebook at acertainstyle.com. That's one word all written out. We're on Twitter at @a_a_certain_style, and we're also on YouTube at a certain style, where you can leave a nice big comment. Thank you. Or you can also leave us a review on iTunes, but that's real complicated and it takes ages to go through. So if you don't do that, it's fine. It would be nice, but it's a bit of a hassle. So news for today. I have been looking into a new streaming service that might be coming to a home near you soon, which brings feature films that are currently out at the cinema, viewable in your home for a price, which is cool. I like this because you can't always be bothered to go to the cinema, and sometimes there are annoying people at the cinema. So to have the choice to bring those films the second they come out into your own home, I think is real neat. This is a thing devised by Sean Parker, who came up with Napster and had a hand in Facebook, and loads of real big directors are behind it. So it actually has some real credibility and may actually happen.
You said it was pricey.
Yeah, it's $50 per movie.
There was some other service prior to that. It was like 1,500 or something. It's an insane.
1,500?
Yeah.
Oh, what, to get it into your home? Like the install fee?
I think it may have been more of like a pro thing.
Oh.
Apparently it's all mega
So you
expensive.
could do the sort of home cinema and project it onto a big screen and get people in.
I don't know. I think maybe I don't know. It's like I shouldn't talk about things I don't really know about.
Oh, no, we're great at that.
Oh, well,
It's
I
fine.
hadn't noticed.
It's absolutely fine. Anyway, yeah, thanks. I think $50 is quite steep. The cinema is quite steep, which is the kind of the reason for having this is to maybe not spend so much money at the cinema. But that's loads of money. That's like you'd need to be having a party with like 4 or 5 people to make that worthwhile.
Are you officially allowed to do that? Is the question.
That is a very good question. There's a ton of legal nightmarish stuff involved in this, which may make it not get off the ground, but it's potentially coming. It's looking good.
I guess with for families with kids, and if they got like babies and stuff, they can just put the baby to bed. They don't have to get a babysitter. They can just stay and watch film.
Yeah. None of us have real good experience with kids, but yeah, we know people who do, and yeah, I think finding some time to get out of the house with all the kids and get to the cinema is a bit of a hassle. So for a family ticket, $50 is maybe all right. So if they aim it at those guys,
I imagine the TV and projector manufacturers will be quite happy with it, because if you haven't got a decent setup, especially at 50, maybe a lower price, it wouldn't matter so much. But you want to have a home cinema system, definitely.
Yeah, that was some of the backlash from some directors. They were sort of moaning that it wasn't necessarily the best way to watch their great works, because everyone's TVs are probably set up wrong, and that's true. They are, but I don't think your average viewer really cares. I think as long as they can see it and the colours are all nice and bright and colourful in your face, they don't mind. So I don't think that's going to really stop it from happening. No. So yeah, look out for that in the future. Any other news from you guys?
They brought out the Sony have announced their VR headset.
It's time to VR.
Along with, so they're all coming out this year, I think. Various stages. First batch is in April, then May.
Next week. Next week you can buy, but probably not own an Oculus, because there's a real backlog. But you can give them some money.
Save up for a PC that can use it.
Yeah. It's an expensive process to run VR at the moment. But it's exciting. The fact that it's here, it's cool. We've been talking about it forever.
Yeah.
And now it's more tangible than ever. And
the reviews I've seen of the Sony thing, well, they're not really reviews. The people have just had a go on it. They think I think they made it so it just works properly.
Yeah.
A lot of system you set it up and it's not quite right, but to the resolution and the quality it can get to.
Yes.
It works.
Yeah.
And there's no lag at all, and it's.
Yeah. The PlayStation VR I think is coming out technically as the cheaper option, although you do need to own a PlayStation 4. But we all remember what happened with DVDs. Like the PlayStation 2 was pretty much a lot of people's first DVD player. So I think it's great that Sony are putting out a slightly more competitively priced thing to get it off the ground, get VR off the ground, because the more people buy it in one place, the more people will adopt it everywhere.
What could they could, if they made a more expensive version, it wouldn't do any more because the PlayStation's only got the processing power it's got. So it's kind of a bit limited anyway. It
is. I think all reviews coming up good for that. It's nice. There are better versions out, better VR headsets out there that you can pay more money for. But
there's the Sony one that tracks your position in the room.
It's a nice all-rounder. It will do to a certain extent. It needs the camera, which is not in the price that they put out. So it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Like, you've already got to buy a PlayStation 4, but if you've got that, it's the cheaper option, but you still need to buy a camera, which is maybe like 40 quid.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, it's coming. It's good.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what sort of things become popular, whether it's the sort of role-playing games or
the word experience. I think it's going to get used quite a lot.
Have you heard of the roller coaster thing?
What?
Where you wear headsets on an actual roller coaster. So because you hear it and you think it's going to be like a room you sit in, but no, you wear a headset on a roller coaster, and so you're actually flying a jet fighter or something. But you're getting all the real G-force from the roller coaster.
Yeah,
I imagine that's
cool.
pretty cool.
I think Alton Towers are going to do something like that.
It's cool, yeah. That's
it's something they're saying that they can do with old roller coasters that are kind of a bit, they're still working, but they're a bit not as exciting perhaps as some of the modern ones. But
is that just a simulator at that stage? Like, could they not just do what simulators do? Because simulators have been doing that for years.
It's kind of simulation, but you're getting full on
the same experience.
You're getting full on G-forces and the real
wind.
feeling.
And the wind.
I want them to do Indiana Jones style.
Minecart ride.
Yeah, minecart thing. That'd be cool.
Well, you said it, and there's the segue.
Very obvious direct one.
I'm sorry. There's the segue. Also, Indy 5.
Oh yes,
Indiana Jones 5. Who hasn't had enough of Harrison Ford? I know I haven't.
But when's it coming out? 2019.
2019. So he will be 3 years older than he is now. And he's old. I was thinking about this the other day, and we don't know anything, so it's all down to speculation. They've got a writer, and it is confirmed. So it is currently happening. But I like the idea that John Rhys-Davies is going to show back up, because he does like one on, one off. He was in Raiders, he wasn't in Temple of Doom, and then he turned up again in Last Crusade. He wasn't in Crystal Skull.
Which one's John Rhys-Davies?
He's Salah, the little helpy guy who gives him help.
Did he wear a suit?
No. He's
little fella.
he's the, I guess he meets him in Cairo when they're digging for the Ark in Raiders, and helps him out, gets him on the boat. And then in The Last Crusade, he sort of gets Indy some horses, and he's like, no camels, and he gets him camels because he blows up a car or something. He's like a little bit.
Does he wear a fez?
Yes.
Yes.
Is he a young chap?
No.
Is he not?
No, he's relatively old. Again, it would be funny because he's quite old as well. He's the guy who plays Gimli in Lord of the Rings. If you're having trouble visualizing him, although he's covered in makeup, so maybe that's not helpful either.
Prosthetic nose.
Yeah. Sliders. Does anybody remember Sliders? He was in Sliders.
Really?
He was the guy. I forget his name, but he was the sort of professor type guy from Sliders.
No, I was just.
I just feel like he should be wearing a white linen jacket, but I think that's another person who wears a fez in a different film.
I think you're thinking of the guy from The Mummy, who has a little moustache.
No.
No.
He does wear white linen because it's all sandy and hot, and that's what they wear out there.
I don't know. We can internet this.
Anyway, yeah, we could.
I think it sounds like a terrible idea.
Take it offline.
Take it offline.
Well, and then online.
What? Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Does anybody remember the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
Yes, vaguely.
When they did a load of little TV shows about
with River Phoenix.
No, he was the young guy in Last Crusade, but then they got someone else for the TV show. I'm confusing it with young Sherlock Holmes in my head. Okay.
I'm not sure if I've seen both.
It was a relatively long-running show, but they did a couple of episodes where Indy was old, and he was looking back. So it was Indiana Jones old, and then the story revolved around him being younger. So they may still wedge in another younger Indiana Jones for this film, and Harrison Ford might just be like the storyteller type role in his old people's home with a nice warm blanket around his legs. It could end up like that.
Yeah.
You could be like Young
You
Guns.
could. That opens
He
up
just
a
does
whole.
Young Guns. He just does the voiceover the whole film.
Yeah.
There's a whole new sort of genre of film you could do, just young, whatever, like of lots of different.
I think they've done it. There was
films.
like James Bond
Superhero.
Jr. as well. It was like an animated show. They've done the kind of, and there's like Teen Titans as well, which is like the Justice League, but younger as an animation as well. So they have done the younger version of.
They haven't done a young
things.
Bond yet.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah. That's what I said. They did James Bond Jr.
Oh right.
as an animated show.
Where
it was James Bond Jr.
Yeah. Was that based on the books by?
I doubt it very
It's not a
much.
true story.
Real life events.
Who's the guy from Fast Show who does the Bond books?
I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah, the one of the
It's not
guys from
Simon
the
Day.
Fast Show.
Simon Day?
No, Paul Whitehouse's buddy with the ring in his ear.
A ring in his ear.
I can't remember now.
Some guy from the Fast Show writes
Yeah.
Bond fiction.
He'll come. Yeah, he
Really?
writes like the kids, kind of sort of teenagery age group. I'm sure they'll make them into a film. I can imagine that. I can see them being a sort of like Hunger Games stroke Maze Runner stroke type. What was that? Not Insurgents. Divergence.
Yeah, that's
Insurgents is a different team film.
that's a film that's not doing so well, and I think they've slashed the budget for the final.
The Divergence.
Yeah,
I've not seen any. Of those.
I've not seen them either.
I've
But
not met a person who's seen any of them either, or
That's-
even heard of a person who's
that's,
seen any.
yeah, no, I think they've
Don't think we're the
entirely passed
demographic.
everything. Yeah, they've.
I did
passed-
watch Maze
passed us
Runner.
by. Did you like Maze Runner?
It was okay.
A guy got damaged.
It's amazing.
Yeah, someone recently got injured. One of
Hmm.
the main guys on set.
Real bad. He
I
got
think
hit by
he's
a
all
car.
right though.
Yes,
gonna be okay.
Yes, I think he's going to be okay. But that film is going to get delayed,
Yeah.
which is quite bad. But at
You
least
both missed my pun.
What was your pun?
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
obvious. You can play it back later.
okay.
Okay.
Let us know if the pun was good or not.
It
Because
was terrible. It's so obvious.
puns generally
When it's
are.
called the Maze Runner, and you're going to say how good or bad it is. There's only one thing you can possibly say.
Oh, Graham.
Sorry.
Moving on.
Shit.
Batman vs Superman is currently out and being reviewed by many, many people, and there are many, many opinions of that film that are somewhat bad.
We
It's
weren't
not doing
expecting
good.
it to get rave reviews though from. watching the
No,
trailers.
I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. I don't understand that film, but it could have been one of those kind of fluke things where it's just like it's trying to do new stuff with the superhero thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's quite pulled it off.
I think none of what you're saying is correct.
Really?
From what I've seen, like lots of bad reviews are expecting it to be a Marvel film.
Yes.
It's not like full of comedy.
Yeah.
They're kind of oh, what's this? So that's like one kind of review.
Hmm.
I think the main actual negative comment that is maybe a little bit more sensible is that it's a bit mixed up. They're trying to do too much in one film.
Yes.
Like people have said it's like 5 films in one film.
Yeah.
That's its main problem. But from what I can tell, the actual characters in it and the performances are pretty good. And apparently Batman has like one of the best action scenes a Batman has ever had. And
Yeah, Ben
Everyone's-
Affleck's getting some good.
yeah, everyone thinks he's fine. And
A
then
good Batman.
apparently the entrance of Wonder Woman is supposed to be amazing. Like everyone was blowing up on Twitter. That's what they do on Twitter.
Like people
They
blow up.
blow.
Oh God.
People blow,
Oh no.
Are you
blow
going
off,
crazy on Twitter?
blow off on Twitter.
I think apparently they shoehorned a lot of stuff in the run up to the what's it called, the Justice League thing that's going to happen,
Yeah.
and they could have just had a bit less of a film with less, because I think there's lots of characters appearing.
Yeah, that's what I found. I think they were totally trying to play catch up to get to where Marvel Avengers are now. But I'm really, one of the things I heard, because Zack Snyder directed it and he also did Watchmen, which I think was a little bit underrated. But I read a review that said it was maybe a little bit less Marvel and a little bit more Watchmen, which I think is quite cool, because Watchmen did superheroes again in a very sort of different way, a little
I
bit
think
more.
they don't want to be like Marvel. We don't need more Marvel. I mean, a darker, slightly grittier thing is good. Is it something different?
It is. I'm still. I don't know. I think I kind of want to see it, but I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it.
No.
So I don't know, but it's going to do well. I think it is doing well, like just because, like, regardless of the reviews, people are interested in it, and that's kind of all you need.
When do you think we're going to
Really.
reach peak action?
We've reached it.
We've
Reached it. There are entirely too many superhero movies
Yeah.
out at the moment. You guys saw Deadpool, correct?
I haven't seen it.
I've seen it,
Do you see Deadpool? I was speaking to someone yesterday, and they said that it very much makes fun of the superhero film, which is quite funny when you've got trailers before that film that are promoting like the upcoming superhero movies like Batman versus Superman and like Civil War and stuff like that, and then Deadpool plays, and it's
self-deprecating humour. It's good. I thought it was a good film.
yeah. It's an
definitely-
interesting one.
Very different
Yeah.
to the others.
I like. I think it needs to be made fun of because there's a lot of. There are too many, and it is getting.
I'm
a bit
surprised they haven't done a
parodies of themselves without trying.
scary movie style thing for superhero films.
I think those have gone away. I'm kind of glad they have. I'm not sure why they went away. But
they were really
have,
bad.
Yeah,
and just got
I think it's
worse.
like 8 or something, or 10.
yeah. It's like they had more sequels than the thing they were parodying in the first place. I think you might find them like on the sort of bottom of the list on Netflix and Amazon. I think some stuff still pops up there for those of you who enjoy the parody movie.
Yeah.
I think they're still there. They're just not at the cinema anymore. Because who needs to be out at the cinema when you can be at home on Netflix?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, the Marvel films, they do have a timeline. You can literally see a little graph of what films they planned it out to whenever it is.
Yeah. Oh no.
And there's
Absolutely.
nothing-
Absolutely.
Well, maybe they'll extend it, but they won't go on forever.
No. Well.
Well, maybe.
Anyway, let's not get caught up in the superhero malarkey because we'll be here forever. Let's talk about machines. Let's talk about machines and robots and difference between the two. We've got a machine and a robot on the table. BB-8 and some kind of yellow and black robotic arm. Graham.
Which is a machine and which is the robot?
So I would say the robot is BB-8 and the machine is the arm, because BB-8, although not this version, if BB-8 was real, which it kind of is a bit more autonomous. You can give him a task and turn him on and he'll go and do it, whereas the machine needs person input to make it.
That is not the
Do
definition
something.
of these things.
Damn it! Go,
In
Graham.
industry, you've
Go.
got robot arms, haven't you?
Yeah, but
Doing
is the
parts.
name just something that people are familiar with, and they call it robot
Well, I
too?
mean, I can't remember what it means. It was invented by some Hungarian, I think, and it's like means like a slave. So it's just something that does something for you. It doesn't have to have any AI at all.
But it could still be a robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
You're,
it's a bit. It's like, why do you call a robot arm when it's doing the same thing as some other mechanism that moves around and picks things up, which you wouldn't call a robot, but you might call a robot. It's a bit fuzzy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
certainly, this is generally called a robot, and that's called a robot,
and that's a robot.
and that's a toy.
It's a wind up. It's clockwork.
That's an automata, maybe.
Ah.
It's broken. Also, you can't play with that without. It won't do what it needs to do.
You've broken it.
So Graham, we're kind of calling you in to shed some light on the machines and robots that we see in popular culture today, namely, as Andy says, movies. And we were trying to think of when it's done well. And I found that when it's done well is when it's something that actually physically works, kind of like the robot arm here, or BB-8. BB-8 is something fantastical, but actually they built it for real. How does BB-8 stack up there in the world of movies and robots done good, in your opinion?
I think I mean, there's only like one little bit in the film where you think, well, maybe that's not quite right when he's going downstairs, but it would depend on the stairs, and you could do it. Yeah, I think it's quite cool. You have to think people have made them. They didn't use it in the film, but they made one.
Yeah.
Kind of at the same time, and then they showed it on stage, so you can implement it. I guess the question with BB-8 is it a good design to implement? Because like on sand, you imagine you get a bit of sticky something on him, he's going to be dragging up sand into his little mechanism. And there's obviously...
His head
he's
could
got-
fall off.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's using quantum locking or something. It's a thing.
What?
Don't worry.
What? Don't worry about it, guys. It's a thing. We don't need to go into that.
What?
It's really cool. You
Do we?
should put it
What
on
is
Google.
what's quantum locking then? In a
It's a
nutshell.
but you get some magnets and you get a bit of superconductor and you make it really cold, and you can just hover it above the magnets and it'll just hover there, and you can change its angle and it'll just hover.
Is that what they'll make hoverboards out of one day?
They're not going to make hoverboards.
That's what they made the hoverboards out of. That they
really?
did the rounds with the metal.
Yeah,
it had to have a metal floor.
Yeah.
To work. The Lexus one.
Possibly, yeah.
That worked like
But
that.
it's some nice demonstrations. They make a little track and they can put it at a funny angle and just knock it and it shoots around the track.
What? It just stays at the same angle.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Something to do with the quantums.
Those quantums.
But anyway, I'm not saying that.
What kind of robot? Do you know what he was designed to do as a robot?
What, in
the
Star
idea,
Wars?
Yeah, the idea behind what type of robot is BB-8?
Well,
Is he a...
He goes into the X-Wings, so he's kind of like an R2-D2. He's like an astromech utility droid, so he's there for maintaining a ship whilst in flight.
That's why it has a blowtorch and other tools, I guess.
I like that bit.
But being a ball, doesn't it make it easy to get around the ship unless
Well, that
magnetizable, or maybe his head just kind of pops off and goes around.
Well, I think you see him out of his element when he's in the Falcon, because that's doing flips and stuff, and he has to use those weird cables to kind of grapple himself and keep him stable. But when he's in an X-Wing, like R2-D2, R2-D2 falls out all over the place when a ship banks and does all this kind of stuff. But he should remain in that little slot just behind the pilot.
He has got out and done a bit of maintenance, though, hasn't he?
R2-D2.
Yeah.
Oh, he did in
he's
episode
stuck
1.
on the wing.
No, on episode 1, he's out on the ship.
Yeah.
When all those other ones are getting blown away. So yeah,
I think they could probably come up with a better design for that purpose. If that's their sole purpose, their main purpose.
The design is obviously quite a lot to be cool.
Yeah.
And different, and it is both of those things. And
Well,
cute.
yeah, totally. I mean, I think you'll see him do lots more crazy stuff in later movies. So you might see him doing some, like if he was to roll around on the outside of a ship. I guess that's just more magnets, I suppose. So it
I mean, the
logically work.
The least realistic thing is how much he's got inside him. He seems to be able to have little drawers and pockets and arms, and you're going to have quite a lot of space taken up by whatever it is that makes him move, and battery power or whatever it is. And then he's got somehow. They always just seem to have more, magical amounts of space inside.
Yeah.
That's movies, isn't it?
Well, that's the big question that we're kind of gonna talk about today. There's the real, and then there's the not so real. But movies have to be cool at the end of the day. You were mentioning Iron Man. Everyone likes Iron Man. I think we're unanimous in enjoying it as a film and a concept. But please tell me it's possible one day to have that kind of suit, Graham. Please.
I think it's impossible. Well,
It's probably possible to have a suit like that kind of fits like that one, but not that just sort of grows out of nothing.
I mean, the earlier suits, I guess. I mean, like the very first one he made, just out of scrap metal. You can't, at the moment, you can't do much like. I mean, they are making exoskeletons and things. The main issue is the actuators. They're just not light enough. You can make strong, slow, quite heavy things, and you can make quick, weak things. But making something that's kind of a lot better than muscle, for example, is really difficult. And then you've got to get the power. So he's got like his magical power source.
He's got a heart light.
And you can't say that you don't know what's
E.T.
going to come in the future. You can imagine some amazing. I mean, even like lithium polymer batteries, compared to what we used to have, are amazing power sources. So you don't know what's going to come. Maybe some repulsor technology will appear. You can't say it won't. Who knows? But then it's just like the mechanics of it. The further along you go through the movies, the more kind of ridiculous it gets. When bits are kind of flying through the air and they can lock together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now got. They're almost like little robots in themselves, and they've got all these functions, or they can just fold away into tiny packages. It's ridiculous.
So a lot of people ask. I'm going to probably just ask you a straight up question in a second, but a lot of people ask me a similar question when I watch films, because I make them. So I know some of the ins and outs of how things are put together. So when I watch a film, people always ask, "Do you still enjoy movies knowing how they're made?" How does that relate to you when you watch a movie with some kind of mechanism in it that's like, that's bullshit? Kind you can suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, I mean, they're so outlandish. It doesn't make any difference. What's sometimes harder to accept is the development speed. Like one afternoon, they'll somehow make an entire.
It's a montage
thing. I mean, there's a bit where he goes to in Iron Man. He goes off to a drinks thing, and he said, and then Jarvis says, "Beginning automated manufacture," and it's making the entire thing, which is what. But you see that a lot. You just see they can just develop things in no time. There's no like long-term development. Occasionally you see that. But that's kind of. You can't really like stop the cinematic universe for a few years while they develop stuff. So you understand that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's worse when they get really close to being accurate, but then they just
ruin it.
They press the Hollywood button.
They just make it just wrong. It could have been right. It could have just been no more effort to make, but somehow maybe one of their advisors got it wrong, or they just ignored them and said, "Oh, this will be easier." And that's frustrating for someone who understands what's going on, but for most people it wouldn't make any difference.
Because I have a similar response. Like I always reply to people with that question about whether I'm still enjoying movies. It's like I enjoy them if they're done like well. It doesn't matter if they're technically brilliant or technically not brilliant. I think as long as it comes together as a cohesive whole, it's okay. So you can maybe get like, let's say, halfway with the Iron Man suit and go, well, this is 50% real, and then we got to make something exciting out of this and go, oh, there's this extra 50% is the Hollywoodness behind it, and you can just accept it.
I think whether you believe that world, they sort of create a world, and if you kind of you sort of that if that world has defined, well-defined sort of rules, they kind of you can just sort of suspend your disbelief. But if they sort of, as you say, sort of change the rules, if they're going to go like really real, and then they go, actually, but we're going to chuck in this this other thing, then that's when it sort of falls apart.
But I get really what it makes me really excited about is when someone does do, from the filmmaking point of view, when someone does do something technically brilliant. It's like I appreciate that way more because the part of me that knows how that's done is totally blown away by it. It's like I'm not necessarily removed from the story, but I'm enjoying it on an entirely another level because of the things they're doing sort of behind the scenes to tell that story, and I get really excited by that. Do you get the same thing with when you see a machine that's like, that's spot on, that's how it is done, and does it make you enjoy the movie anymore? Yeah,
probably. I like seeing things that kind of a bit. Is it Big Hero 8? Big Hero 9,
Big Hero 6,
Big Hero number some.
Yeah.
Watch Big Hero 6, and they go to like this university lab that his like brother works in, and like can spot what machines are. You go, I know what that is. They're actual. Really? They didn't just like put random stupid robot arms. No offense. Like, you know what they are, and you think that's quite cool. It's quite realistic.
Yeah.
And they've got some big, a little used equipment as well. But then later on, they just could solve all problems in 3 seconds. Like a small child could basically do this stuff.
But it's important that they got like some of the way to making it believable. Like I think we've done the discussion about real versus sort of CG before, and I think both are valid as long as it's done for the right reasons or based in some kind of reality. I was looking into because I want to talk about Johnny 5 because it's
it was on telly yesterday.
Was it really?
Yeah, I caught it in the morning.
But you look at Johnny 5, and again, they built something that does actually mechanically work. It's all remote controlled, and I think like 20 guys operate it or whatever. Although it's not functioning on its own, the fact that that's there on screen and real makes you kind of go. You can see how, like the Iron Man Mark 1 suit when he's in the desert, you can kind of see how mechanisms are moving because you can actually see them, and you go, okay, I buy into that way more than the closed off red Mark 54 wherever he's up to now. And that makes it sort of nice. And then you go to like, I see a lot of Johnny 5 in, let's say, WALL-E. And I've seen lots of concept artwork for WALL-E where they've kind of done like the schematic. This is how he's designed. This is how all his pieces go together, because you do see like his eye socket come out and stuff like that, and he replaces it. And it's like that, again, it's just another level of reality that's just nice when they've thought about it. And it's there on screen, and some people will get it, some people won't. But Johnny 5 was like 20 years ago? Longer than that,
30
maybe?
30 years ago.
30?
It's like 82.
Oh, man.
So
That's
no,
depressing.
not 30 years ago. But
It's long enough. Long enough. We like Johnny Five. You like Johnny Five?
Johnny
Yeah.
Five is alive. I won't do the Asian accent.
but
No.
But you do believe, like, yeah, you sort of feel that you empathise with him. He's
Yeah.
kind of like, because he's sort of has a personality, and
Yeah.
even though he's quite kind of basic, but I quite like that fact that they've not gone too, crazy in terms of the technology. The technology was, they had robots in the 80s that kind of were similarly.
It's a big rear control car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can jump. That's a bit. You can do it, but it's
And he has a
more
laser.
tricky. The laser's nonsense. Lasers are always nonsense. At least it wasn't in his watch.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But they look so cool.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Lasers are cool.
I thought of an example of annoying stuff that was nearly right, but not right. It was from something like CSI in Miami, and they were going to basically 3D print this skeleton. So they'd CT scanned this mummy or whatever it was, and they've got all this 3D stuff, and they're going to 3D print it. And 3D printers exist, and you get really big ones, and they've got these like lasers and stuff, and it looks amazing. And they do it layer by layer in like a resin bath, and when you've finished doing this, out of the resin bath comes the thing, which is kind of a cool visual.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. What they did is they had this machine, looked pretty much the same, it was quite big, and it had lasers above, like zipping around, but then it was sort of full of smoke. And out of the smoke, the object appeared. So they were like they were lasering in the middle of this smoke cloud all over the place. And then this thing appeared.
Just suspended in the air.
That was the thing. If you laser in the middle of nowhere and you make a thing, it's just going to fall down. It made zero sense. And it's just saying, well, why didn't you just do what they actually do, but a bit quicker or something?
Yeah.
And then you get. And I was like, oh.
It looked cool. I think they take it a bit too far. I think when it becomes humanoid in appearance, and going back to our discussions about like AI and robots taking over the world and stuff like that, it tends to be the humanoid robots that go bad, rather than the ones that are just sort of cute little robots. And I find that kind of, it's interesting because they're the ones that totally are wrong. Because like they've got some upright robots working at the moment, but they don't do what they do in movies yet. That's like a million miles away.
Right.
And it's like we just make them the bad guy. I think Tim was trying to talk about this, and you make a robot to not be a bad guy. It would be super interesting. But real humanoid robots in films, good, bad. Have you seen any?
Well, I know.
No. Go for it.
Well, I mean, the easiest ones are the most realistic ones because they have
Get some
human.
lycra.
They just wear lycra and stuff. I guess the harder part is when they're sort of
Terminators.
Terminators.
I think do a bit of both. Like that goes. You see some actual mechanisms in there, and again, that's like as big a leap as it is. At least you're seeing like a mechanism going. Okay, I understand how that works. And then for 90% of the movie, it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger's skin. But I think the fact that you've established it as some sort of machine, I think really helps a lot in that place and allows you to suspend your disbelief. Anyway, we're getting a bit. I'm getting a bit sidetracked by human robots, which I said I wouldn't do. So, Graham, what's your favourite robot in a movie? We'll go around the table and let's pick one, real or fake.
My favourite robot.
Or machine.
Machine.
Because
I don't have any favourite anything.
I don't
I have a favourite colour.
Okay, great. Let's start. Okay, what's your favourite number? Favourite colour?
I don't have a favourite number.
Yeah.
I love all numbers equally. Andy, what's your favourite
yeah.
robot?
Well, I don't know if it's my favourite robot, but I liked because it was different and in modern film was the robots in Interstellar.
Yeah.
Because they
I've
were
never seen robots like that before.
They're weird, and they didn't look very practical in a space. They're kind of monolithic sort of chunks of metal.
The way they could do they did a lot with what they were. Though, didn't
Yeah.
they? That's quite
Yeah.
cool.
Which I just quite liked their sort of their whole concept and the fact that they were kind of ex-military. They were sort of they had a sort of slight personalities that were quite kind of.
Well, they had like the whole personality settings thing, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah,
It's like they have.
down.
I think they have all this intelligence, but you can basically strip it back to whatever makes you feel most comfortable in terms of what it will and won't do. But no, they are neat. Because they're a physical thing that was walked around by a puppeteer. So like again, they're very simple and they do actually work. So again, you're seeing a real blocky thing on screen, which is nice.
They don't actually work, but you can make them look like they work.
No, yeah, so they're not working mechanically. They're not working remotely. There is a guy basically in a suit behind it walking with stilts. Yeah, it's a big puppet.
They're just two boxes.
Because I don't think they'd be able to walk like that in real life.
I don't know. Would they? Because they do way crazier stuff than that. They start doing cartwheels and.
Well, that doesn't mean they
things.
can walk.
have to cartwheel everywhere.
Actually, that scene annoyed me a little bit. With the wave, because it seemed to take forever to get to them. But I suppose it was a long way away.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Wave velocity.
Yeah.
No.
But I think
can't
Interstellar is one of those films they really tried to make it sort of based in science. So
yeah,
a lot of their sort of their world was sciencey, and all the stuff around the black hole was all done with actual mathematics, and they got some not astronomers.
Physicists,
astrophysicists,
astronomers,
to sort of calculate what it would look like around a black hole and stuff. So yeah, I think they got most. I kind of believed most of it.
Why don't you think those could walk? Is there a specific reason?
I can't remember now. They walked in a weird way, didn't they? They sort of. They stick out their leg and then just.
It's a little bit like like crutches, I think.
Yeah,
it's a
I
little
suppose
bit like
maybe
2 forward and then 2 legs do the leg thing. So like if you're walking with crutches,
I just couldn't believe they'd get much grip, sort of. But
well,
I think it was more sort of falling forwards.
But it's
that's
all
what walking is.
Yeah, so maybe I just.
Yeah.
But it's all about balance, isn't it? Like what's the Honda robot, the
Asimo.
Yeah, like that they figured out how to make that walk and balance, and it's like that was a big.
But he has a lot of degrees of freedom, so you can. They are a bit limited. I mean, you would generally something which they look like it can just hinge one hinge. If you fall sideways, what do you do? But they could have stuff inside like gyroscopes and spinning weights. Yeah, basically.
But they did the cool again realism thing. Like they were a bit like the astromech droids from Star Wars. They like fit into the ship as well because they kind of sit there almost like a coffee table in the in the cockpit, which is kind of weird. Am I misremembering? The voices for them or for one of them sounds a little bit like Intelligence from Team America. I kind of thought it was very un-robot-like. It was very casual.
Yeah, well, it sounded a bit like what's his name from True Detective. With the southern,
they were a bit Western, weren't they?
They had like a southern drawl.
Yeah. Well, that's like Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey, that's it. They just reminded me of Matthew. But I think that's the idea. They were sort of ex-military robots that kind of, had been programmed with that sort of hardened kind of ex-military kind of guy. But yeah.
No, they are neat. I'm a big fan of BB-8. I'm afraid.
Is he your favourite robot?
At the moment, yeah. I'm quite.
It's the first robot I thought I'd quite like to build, or at least try and build.
How does that work then in super layman's terms? Because I know it's something to do with magnets. But
well, the head stays on with magnets. I mean, the head's the easy bit. The head stays on with magnets, and you've got some sort of arm inside, moves the head around. There's a guy on YouTube who's implemented this. He's on his 3rd version. He's implemented it in a different way each time.
Right.
And the first way he did it, how did he do it? So he has a kind of gyroscope horizontally inside, so he could spin that and make BB-8 spin on the spot. And then this thing could drive on the inside, and then that makes it move forward or backwards. So you could basically move forward and backwards, and then it could spin on the spot. Because when you spin this flywheel, the body moves in the opposite direction. A bit like on a helicopter, where you need to have a tail rotor. Yeah. And then his very first version, he actually balanced the head on top, so he just had a hollow ball with the head sat on top with wheels, and it was basically just balancing like a little
It didn't fall off.
person.
Didn't that fall off?
Well, I mean, it's got control systems in to keep it level.
Like a clown on a ball. It's
Like a
sort
clown
of
on a ball,
balancing.
yeah. And you can
right.
do it with... There's special wheels, which you can have basically 3 of these special wheels. And they're like a wheel. Around the wheel are wheels in the other direction. So they're wheels that can go sideways as well as forwards. But if you've got 3 of them connected to 3 motors, by powering them in different ways, you can make it go in any direction. They're sort of omnidirectional. It's called a holomonic wheel. And so I think he had 3 of those. I honestly can't quite remember. And then it could drive on the top. But it was a bit unstable, and getting grip on the floor from the big wheel was a bit of a problem. So then he built this other one with a flywheel. And he's got a third one, which... The third one, I think, works like the one from they made after the film.
Yeah.
Which is slightly different, again. But in the film, he always... like 2 of the side pieces... he never goes on the side, so he's always sort of going in a straight line, and then he banks and turns like that. So he's almost like a wheel,
Yeah.
which just happens to have domes on the side.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they've got weights inside, and they can just lean it. It's all got these little control loops to keep it.
But that's not how you do it in real life. That's just for like shooting purposes to make it work sort of easier.
Well, they didn't do that for shooting. They did that with this at sticks.
Sticks.
Yeah.
So did they not do? Because I've not researched it fully. Did they not do any actual working BB-8s, i.e.,
They didn't use them in the
rolling
film.
through? They didn't use them in the
No.
film. Because that was always my thinking behind it. Was a bit marketing. It was like, here's the thing in the film. Here it is for real, but it's CG in the movie.
Well, it's not. It's puppeted in the movie, plus some CG.
Oh, like the
There's a lot-
Interstellar guys. They just
Yeah, they did
work
a
it
lot of
around like
that.
this.
There's
Okay.
pictures of it, and it was like a blue stick
Yeah.
behind. Because I think to persuade them it was a good idea, they did the puppeting to show what it could look like.
yeah.
And then, I mean, I think if they'd had more time, maybe in the next film, they will have the radio control version in.
So I guess with when he was on the sand at the beginning, rolling around on the sand and stuff, that was an actual radio controlled version. But no.
So any wide shot, it's
It could have been a stick.
okay.
You
paint
just have
that
a
guy.
stick coming into the side of it and just pushing it along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
You'll get shot by the
Maybe.
Disney police. They'll come
I
around.
think you can
Come
find
around.
this information out. Yeah.
Um,
I don't think you'd go very well on sand. You'd need like ribs or something. Ridges. To get any pleasure.
Oh no, they'll definitely come get you now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why do they whistle and beep? Why don't they speak?
Yeah, how
That's
do
a
they
real
understand them? That's what I want to know.
You learn.
You learn
Yeah.
the beeps and the whistles.
I would say they do it because it's cute, but also
It's not very practical.
you don't have to write lines. That's the great thing about R2-D2, that like the back and forth between him and C-3PO was always kind of like you just infer what he's saying.
There's
That's way
some
more fun.
Great
'cause
YouTube videos of what he's actually saying.
you just get a one-sided conversation.
Quite filthy and sweary.
I think he probably would be.
Yeah.
I think all of those astromech droids have just got a ton of attitude.
Yeah.
They're not very nice.
No.
Did you see the speaking of YouTube and internet videos? Did you see the? I think we mentioned it the other day. It's the what's probably going to bring about Judgment Day, and it was just basically loads of people pushing and kicking those machines that
yes.
aren't supposed to fall over. It was like the cow robot and the upright male one. It was just people like properly like slamming into it, trying to push them over, which is a test. But that's perhaps where it starts.
Yeah.
I kind of worry more for the AIs than for us, because people, you know, how horrible people can be to animals.
Yeah.
When it's something like a robot, well, it's only a robot. You can just do what you want.
The-
But the film AI, it's kind of like the mean to Ted,
yes.
and it's really. It's probably called Ted. I know it's called Ted.
It is called
Teddy
Ted.
bear.
Or Teddy. Yeah, it's just called Ted.
Yeah.
Another awesome piece of Stan Winston engineering. Pretty much everything we've spoken about is a Stan Winston Studios creation, by the way,
I
which is
subscribed
good.
to his
Yeah.
thing for a bit. And
You
watched
should-
a few videos.
You should definitely out there subscribe to the Stan Winston School YouTube channel. They pop up like.
I subscribed to the.
Oh, you
thing.
actually paid money for the.
a little bit.
Oh, was it all right? Because I only watched the free
I didn't
stuff.
have time to watch it. I subscribed for a specific purpose, to learn about how they do tentacles,
Right.
and like things that can be manoeuvred with cables. And I watched that course, But it's a monthly subscription. I just didn't have time to watch it. But there's literally, you can just learn everything.
Yeah.
And if you had a month off, you could get your money's worth.
Really?
I watched a thing about a woman. She was like putting fur on stuff.
Yeah.
So she puts all the fur on costumes and on animals and stuff. And how they do that, it's a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's
They do like individual kind of hairs.
that is the
and
thing.
stuff.
With this, she was doing. I think she did some of that where she did it like you could do it in bulk. So she'd buy fur, but the fur you buy is stuck to like some sort of sheet.
Fake
So
skin.
she'd then put tape on the top of it, and then she'd turn it over and cut all that fabric off. Then she would put glue on the thing she wants the fur to be on, then offer up the sheet, and it would all stick to that thing. And then she'd pull all the tape off, and then she'd be there cutting it.
Oh, God.
So,
Wow.
but she did that. She'd been doing this for like 20 years, and she knew every detail about it. So you can just learn everything if you want to make like stuff.
Yeah, there's basically, if you just subscribe to the channel, you get like 2-minute, 3-minute videos pop up every now and again, just as a little taster, which are kind of, if you're just sort of an avid viewer watching stuff, you get to see how they made like the Jurassic Park creatures and Alien and Predator and things like that. But yeah, I've never looked into subscribing for the full blown stuff. That sounds like I lose a lot of time, as you say. I don't want to go. Maybe I shouldn't go down that rabbit hole
if
of.
you're not going to use the information,
You'd have to have the
it's very
technical skills
Yeah.
to actually build the
It's
thing.
it's a learning
that's what
channel.
You're watching.
Yeah.
They're giving,
Oh, right,
they're
yeah.
literally
It's-
courses on how to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a learning.
Okay, maybe the
It's a
tools
learning thing.
and the machinery.
You don't need machinery. Most of it, you just need a few tools. But you need to want to actually make something.
Yeah.
If you want to make a puppet, you
Mm.
could, and like just go for the things that apply.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Sorry, I just thought of something about AI going rogue.
Yeah.
Did you see Microsoft's
Yeah, oh, yeah, I
Twitter
did.
bot this week?
Yeah.
She did a bad. She did a bad
She
thing.
basically went from naught to Nazi in less
However,
than 24
some
hours.
of it, apparently you could tell her to sort of repeat after me. So
Yeah.
people were doing that as well.
Okay.
I
The
think-
thing that bothered me about that is like, did they not think that was going to happen? Because
Yeah.
wasn't she learning based on input from the internet?
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been on the internet.
Yeah.
It's full of bad
Well,
bad
people
stuff.
were giving her special input. They were
Yeah.
giving her that input.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
I
I
saw
think
the-
there was a lot of things they could have done and they didn't do to make it safer.
The thing is, it's like if it's an AI sort of test or just an experiment, it's like surely taking it down is not the point. You just let it go. I know it was saying some bad things, but that's kind of, it was there to be experimented with, and people surely did.
I think
experiment
if
with
it was anyone other than Microsoft, it won't.
But it was
But-
tweeting out unsolicited anti-Semitic texts. I mean, just let it go.
It was-
Eventually, it'll stop doing that.
maybe this is. Oh, sorry. Like
We
Donald Trump is actually.
But you had to go at Mexicans as
bot.
well.
Why not? Why not? But it's got to learn. It's got to make those mistakes and then learn why it's maybe
But it
not.
won't learn the way you're thinking.
No.
It will go, oh, that was a bad idea. It needs to have an idea. It needs a goal. I don't know what its goals are.
be an asshole.
Get more
Just
followers.
to kind of agree with people. But some of it was literally you could just say repeat after me, or
Right.
something, and then make it say anything.
Okay. So it got tablicized a little bit.
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, still,
But it's a lesson for us all.
just don't.
What is it?
Just don't. Yeah.
Just don't do
just
it.
don't.
Don't be a Nazi.
Just don't do anything with the internet.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Just leave it alone. Machines.
I haven't given you a favourite robot yet.
Have you got one?
No.
Cool. Tune
I
in
did
next
think-
week.
I did think I quite like R2D2,
Mm.
just because he's a cool character. But that's more the character than the robot.
That's okay. That's okay.
So I'm
I
gonna go with that.
I think that's okay. Can like a character.
I can't think of anything else, any robots or machines. I quite like all these kind of slightly old school clockwork kind of stuff that sometimes happens
Mm.
when they'll have something that's just ridiculously complicated that does. Like the wind-up guy in Hellboy, the wind-up assassin guy.
Oh yeah.
That's all kind of cool when it's all mechanical.
Yeah, like have you seen Hugo as well? There's like that.
Automaton.
Yeah, because that was like one of the first sort of famous machine things, wasn't it? They could play chess or something
Yeah.
like that, but it was actually a man inside it
Yeah.
Sorry, that's random spilling out of information there. Robot with a man
I
inside
just,
playing chess.
just remembering the
thing.
film Batteries Not Included. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
80s film with
It's real sad.
space robots.
It's a real sad movie.
It's cool.
It is cool. So they were aliens, right?
They were alien robots, yeah. Although, yeah, someone must have made them. Oh, I don't know.
Ooh, chicken and the egg.
They were kind of
Chicken and the
mechanical.
egg.
They've evolved.
Unless they had little brains inside of them. That way.
Not real human brain, like organic brain.
Or organic.
No,
I don't know. They got.
Why do you mean someone had to make them?
I don't know. They were
You could have some non-organic life form evolve.
made of metal.
You just need something that can. Yeah. Why not?
Self-replicate.
Silicon-like based life forms.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh god.
It's all chemical reactions.
Oh god.
What?
I don't know.
Silicon
I
is
don't
just
know what to
stuff, isn't
say. I don't know what any of this is.
What do you mean?
I know what silicon is. So it's the conversation about we touched on it last time about what will visit us first, an organic life form or an artificial intelligence life form, and it's probably going to be the latter. It's going to be like a machine AI thing that's going to come here first, if anything does at all.
You think?
But then, yeah, I think so. We're sending out probes all the time.
Oh,
it's
right.
like that
Something
kind
like
of
that.
thing. Someone is going to do that to us. But then
They
who?
have longevity as well.
Yeah.
But who makes
Maybe-
that is then that's a very interesting question, which maybe we shouldn't get into right at the end of this
What do you mean,
podcast.
who
But
what? There's no question.
Well, no,
Some
no.
people made it.
some people
Some
made
creatures
some
made
creatures
it. They made early versions, and then because if you can make a real AI, it can make a new version of itself. It could create a kind of
machines
evolution
making
type
machines.
situation. It doesn't. Evolution is all it is saying, if this doesn't work, get rid of it. If this works, make some more of it. Make a slightly different version, a bit randomly, and see if it works better. And just keep doing that for a long time.
So maybe this is the Hollywood in me talking. There is no scenario where you can skip that kind of organic part,
Yeah, I think it's
and you just
possible.
have like a silicon planet, as you say. So the planet is made up of some kind of metal, and then that just
You could get a
accidentally forms
metal-based life
something
form,
that
perhaps.
starts to make
I
life.
suppose. I mean, we know like one way that life came to exist. Well, we know some guesses about how it, like the primordial soup stuff.
Yeah.
Some chemistry happened, and chemistry is just reactions between atoms. So apparently, we're sort of carbon based. Apparently, you can get similar sort of stuff happening with silicon. What? Some other long as the chemistry can sort of reproduce itself and keep going, and then make new versions of itself.
Yeah.
And get stuff from around it. It doesn't. The distinction is kind of. It's not. I mean, we've got electronic circuits in our heads. We're not that fundamentally
God.
different. Our
Get it out.
Our brains use electricity.
Yeah.
We have essentially circuits, and they're a bit wet. That's all.
Wet
So-
circuits in our head.
Sticky.
But then you look at things like how semiconductors are made. That's all kind of like a lot of wet stuff happening. I mean, I'm not. I don't think you'd get some shiny metal robot coming out probably, but you could imagine something quite
It
different.
would just be some gross robot going,
Yeah.
kill me.
You can. I think if you use your imagination, it's very difficult to rule things out. I think.
Yeah.
Something unexpected could occur.
Maybe they'll, when we've all gone and died off, that our robot probes will go and create new civilizations elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like the little rovers on Mars could.
But you have
They
to
could
say,
self-replicate.
why would we die off and the robots not die off?
It's true. Well,
Because they're not going to get diseases, but why they
there could be a global
could
disaster.
get diseases. You could
be a
have
virus.
small robots.
That's how they got. Yeah.
Nanobots.
It's just about. It's all just atoms interacting. That's all we are.
The big life questions.
Yeah,
being
it always
answered
gets
here on
quite
the podcast.
philosophical, doesn't
It's
it?
good. I had a massive conversation with Gemma last night about religion, which was good. I enjoy those conversations. We
Yeah.
should maybe have a big one of those one day.
Yeah, we do cover
It's
philosophy.
not
and-
really needed.
It's not really.
It's obviously wrong.
Yeah, that's where that conversation went. But it's very hard to you come up against that kind of like you're justifying one thing and they're justifying another, and it's like it actually doesn't go anywhere because everybody who knows, as you say, who bloody knows. All right, I think we've reached the end. Quite naturally.
Yeah.
There. Graham's playing with the robot again.
This seems the thing to do.
It's gonna attack.
It's a satisfying noise. How does that rank up with noises that machines make? Because they can make some pretty cool noises. This seems nice.
I like the noises from the drone things
reasonable.
in
Oblivion.
Yeah.
Oblivion.
Yeah,
The Tom Cruise.
Very white and shiny.
I don't think I've seen that.
Everything's white and shiny.
It's cool. It's Hollywood crap, but it's a neat movie.
Have I
Good
seen
design. Yeah, I think it's probably
It's got Morgan Freeman in it. If that helps narrow it down in any way.
Morgan
Are you an efficient
Andrew
team?
Dufresne.
We are an efficient team.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh really? Oh, you should check it out. You'd like it, I think.
Oh, have I?
It's a pretty film, and
Is
it's
it-
got
Looks
is he
nice.
just like
It's
one guy
filmed
on
in
a-
Iceland.
On a thing, and he meets some people.
kind of yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen
Without
that.
Okay.
spoilers.
Yeah, they have some good little robots
Yeah.
making some good noises, as you say. What do they make? Like?
It's kind of.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So the internet in the
noises.
90s.
Yeah. Oh, I've been watching X-Files, and there's some 90s ass internet in that show.
Oh, you were going to send me that glitch.
Oh, it was. Yeah, there's a glitchy episode. Yeah, I will send you that. Yeah, X-Files is.
Have you finished it yet?
No,
You're still going?
I'm in season 4 at the moment.
Wow.
A lot of two-parters. All the two-parters in that series.
Yeah. Is it series 4 when they start mainly doing aliens?
No, it's always been sort of
Mixture.
50-50.
Monsters and
yeah,
aliens.
there's your comedy, there's your aliens, and then there's your monsters. And yeah, they did like 24 episodes and mix and match those up. Scully's got cancer at the moment. Again, we can spoil stuff that's that old, but yeah. So she's going through that.
I think I stopped watching it around about then.
I stopped when I went to university. Before I went to university, I was quite worried about not being able to watch it. So much so I thought about buying one of those pocket televisions.
Oh, wow.
I just never watched it again.
Got X-Files anxiety.
I just wasn't that bothered when I got there.
They set up stuff like that. No, like I remember when. Do you remember when Big Brother first came on, and people got quite addicted to watching that, and they had like a helpline for people who were having trouble letting go of the show when it wasn't there anymore, because it was on like 24 hours a day, so you could just tune in and watch people sleep.
It was
Real creepy.
It was,
but people got really attached, so when it finished, it was like, oh my god, what's the reason to live? So they had a helpline for it.
oh dear.
Scary.
It is scary. It would be even scarier if that
Dear
helpline
two
was.
in the house.
Cool. All right, thanks, guys. I think we should go and do bank holiday things because it's a bank holiday and it's raining.
You mean work?
Yes, if that's what you plan to do over this bank holiday,
I'm
then
going to
so
drill
be
some
it.
holes, actually.
Okay, that's fun. That doesn't sound like work. That sounds like just drilling.
Just drilling and chilling.
Just drilling and chilling.
I'm going to counterbore them as well.
You're going to what?
Counterbore them. So you make like a little pocket for the head of the screw to go in. So it's flush.
Countersinking.
Sexy.
No, it's counterpouring.
Ah.
It's a flat-bottomed hole.
What's countersinking?
It's a flat-bottomed hole.
Is that how-
Not a...
Is that how you relax, Graham?
No, it's how I get my work done and get paid.
Cool.
All right,
Sorry.
let's do a bank holiday. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Goodbye. That's all right. Fine. Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll do some intro-y stuff and then... Whoa!
That wasn't part of it, was
shit.
it? Do not put that in the... And don't even put the bit where I say don't put that in either, because that's everyone does that. It's so passé and it'd be very poor directorship.
You've left me no choice.